Okay. Eric is there or no?
We're ready, Rinpoche,
We are
please.
ready. Thank you, Rinpoche. We see you and hear you now.
Tomar Sangmala, any Cheto number Sangmala, not to delay.
Rinpoche, Eric's been having a little problem with the mic, and we don't hear him yet.
No. What happened?
He signed off and signed back on.
I'm wondering if maybe Gyaltsen Rinpoche could do this part in English.
Lama Soltram, it's a great idea. We're looking for Rinpoche. It looks like he's not there right now either. So let's all send those good visions and prayers for this to all work out perfectly. We have an offer, and thank you, Anila, for offering to translate this part so we can begin while Eric is working his way on. So that is wonderful, and thank you. So if we have Rinpoche on, we can begin. Lama Soltram.
Yeah.
Our plan C. Oh, Eric is back. I see. I was going to share plan C would be asking you to go into our introduction.
So Rinpoche is...
Can you hear me?
Oh, there's Eric, yeah. I don't see Rinpoche. Is he here?
Rinpoche dropped off. So I'm sure he's...
Okay, so maybe I'll just begin and then hopefully Rinpoche will come on. Maybe, does that sound good?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning or afternoon or evening, everyone, wherever you are. So here to talk about something that is very close to the heart of Adzom Rinpoche and also AdzomGR Rinpoche, and he wanted to talk about it first, but because of technical difficulties, he isn't on right now, but hopefully he will be on by the end and can maybe say a few words. So when AdzomGR Rinpoche came to America, one of the things that he did almost immediately, pretty much as soon as he got off the plane, was to ordain people. And he did this because he feels that the Sangha, in the traditional sense of the ordained Sangha, is an absolute cornerstone for the establishment of Buddha Dharma wherever it goes. And it always has been historically a part, and a very important part, of the establishment of Buddhism. And in the West, we tend not to do that. We tend to be lay practitioners, serious lay practitioners, but not monastics. But Rinpoche really insisted about this, and there were people who wanted to do it and did it, became monastics. And then, as we know, Rinpoche wasn't able to come now for quite a while. And so those monastics have been pretty much on their own. And because of that, they haven't had a lot of support. And we, as a Sangha, haven't supported them. And I just recently became aware of the situation of Ani Tsultrim Lamo in Crestone, which I was actually really shocked about and really concerned. And so I wanted to do something, and everyone else wanted to do something too. There are those who have been aware of it and have been helping her, but not in a to a degree to which her life is sustainable. And so she was ordained in Houston at the end of the first POA retreat. And so she's been a nun since 1999. And she lives in Crestone, and she has been holding that seat of White Jewel Mountain ever since then. And in that process, she has undergone a great deal of hardship and difficulties that are really kind of shocking, considering she is in America, not in Tibet. And here we are supporting monks and nuns in Tibet, which of course is extremely important, but then we have our sister in our backyard and we're not supporting her. So I wanted to just tell you a little bit about her situation. She doesn't have any funding, and so she's now living in a tent. And she's planning, if she doesn't get support, to live in a tent. It is an Arctic tent, so it's not like a little flimsy tent that we would use in the summer, but she's 65 years old. She has issues with her lungs, and it's really difficult to live in this tent, carrying water, no toilet, no way to wash, and so on. Plus, she doesn't have money for food. And so she's actually really in dire circumstances. In Crestone, that's at between 8,000 and 9,000 feet in altitude. So in the winter, it gets extremely cold, and it's also known to be a very windy place. So tents can blow over, which could also cause a fire if she has a stove in the tent.
I should get some paper. Do you have paper?
Collapse on her. So the situation is really dire. And when I found out about it, I thought about this group because many people have a connection with AdzomGR Rinpoche and want to support what he wants to support. And this is something that's very dear to his heart. And I think he would be very upset to hear that, that these monastics really didn't get helped to be monastics, because monastics generally don't work in a normal way. They're dedicating their lives to Dharma, and they beg. That's how they survive. And that's what the Buddha did. The Buddha was actually a beggar. And even though that's true, because she wasn't getting supported, she actually went back to school and became a nurse, got enough money to move back to Crestone. And now she's at the end of that money. And really, as now at an age where she really can't do that kind of work anymore. So I asked her to try to figure out her expenses, her monthly expenses, if she were to actually have housing, a little house or cabin there in Crestone. She wants to stay there. She wants to hold that seat for Rinpoche. What it would cost her. So there's two situations. One is the possibility of raising the money so that she could build something. But today, what I would like to do is see if we can raise money to support her expenses. And then maybe a bit later do a capital campaign to try to raise the funds to get her a little house or cabin. So she calculated her expenses with doctor's bills, with food, with rent, with transportation, with being able to have a phone so she can communicate, and so on. And it came out to $2,400 a month. And so that's her situation. And so I feel very moved by her situation, especially with winter coming. The idea of her being in a tent all winter, to me, it's not okay. We can't let this happen. So I want to begin by making my own pledge. And there's two kinds of pledges that you can make. One is a monthly pledge, which is ideal because then she knows that it's coming and she can rent accordingly. Or you can do a one-time gift, which is also fabulous. So there's going to be two links. I think they're already up in the chat. And that's where you would go to actually make the donation. What happened was when I heard about this, I asked Tara Mandala to create a fund for Western monastics. And so these pages just got finished on our website, taramandala.org. When you donate to her, because she's the first one in this program, everything this morning will go to her. And later, other monastics can apply. There's an application process and so on. But everything will go to her. And Tara Mandala is not keeping a penny in terms of administrative costs or those kind of things that sometimes organizations take when they receive donations. So it's going right to her. And so I just want to make that clear before we begin. And so the way we're going to do this is we'll pledge. People will make pledges by writing into the chat, which is open now. And they'll say their full name. And if they're comfortable putting their email, they can do that. If they just want to put their name, that's also fine. But put your full name, not just your first name, so that we can know really who you are. Put your name and then how much you want to donate. And if it's a one-time gift or if it's a monthly gift. And so that's all you have to do. And there's somebody here who's going to be adding this up and letting us know if we can go beyond her monthly expenses, she can start to save for her cabin. So I'm seeing people already pledging. So I want to pledge myself. I'm talking, so I can't write it in, but I will afterwards. I'd like to pledge a monthly pledge of $100 a month for Anisulchum Lamo. And I'll write that in. Oh, thank you. So I'm seeing some people are not putting month. Bodhi, you have to add whether that's a monthly or a one time. Thank you. Moses, 50. Richard Darcy, 108. Sally Moore is 20 a month. Kate Wheeler, 51 time. Don Mountain with Lama Riggs and Roma and Lama Namgyal. Dorje, 1,001 time. Christine Ho, 50 a month. Adam Brownstein, 108. Brian for LaForgia, one time 100. So Dorje, 10 a month, thank you. Kate and John, 108 one time 108. Oh, they're pouring in here. Stacy Palinka, 10 a month. Jindati, one time 50. Terry Lang, 50 a month, thanks Terry. Lara, 30 a month, great. Esteban, 7 US a month. Thank you. He's in South America. Katie and Kaz, Leone, 100 one time, 1,000 one time donation. 50, Rebecca Stephenson, one time. Sharon Jackson, our beloved Sharon, 300 one time. Lori Ludwig, 108 one time. Tom Nelson, 50 a month. Thanks, Tom. Joanne Schneider, 108 one time. Robert Woods, 250. Is that one time, Robert? Let us know. Richard K, 100 a month. Fabulous. Oh, and they have a Western Nun project. That's great. And then we'll continue that and add an additional 50 per month. So 150 per month. Okay. Oh, there's a 75 per month, 108 from Rose Werner. I'm assuming that's one time. Yeah. Joe and Diane Wilson. I don't see an amount there. Nina Schilling, 50 a month. Thanks, Nina. And I know you're somebody who has been giving to her consistently. Ralph Steele, one time, also has been giving to her, I know. Thanks, Ralph, so much. And Diane, 108 one time. Susie, I'm not sure how to say your name. Grinias, maybe. 15 a month, great. Jennifer Dobenmeyer, 10 a month. Okay. That's where we are so far. Oh, wait. Okay, there's Whitney Wolf. Hi, Whitney. 50 a month. Jennifer Dennert, 20 a month. Subri, 108 one time. Thanks, Subri. Mona and Joseph Wagner, $108 one time. Did my mom get, oh yes, 100 a month. Oh, yeah, I think I said that. That's Peggy. 100 a month, great, Peggy, thank you. $10 a month. That's from Leah Regolinsky. Carol Fitzpatrick, thanks Carol, 108, one time. Let's get Anila inside for the winter, be able to afford her housing. Maybe we could get some totals now put in. I know it must be hard to keep up. Jacqueline, 150, I'm assuming that's one time. Is that one time, Jacqueline? Or is that monthly? Beatrix, thank you. 30, one time. One time there, Jacqueline, thanks. Clarifying that. Rebecca Pine to everyone, 108 one time. Maury, 100 one time. Brian, Mincy's 50 one time. Wow, everybody, thank you. I think pretty much everybody's giving something. That's fabulous. Dolores, hi Dolores, 108. Can we find out how much in monthly commitments we have? Yeah, I think, yeah, if Tara, if you could keep track of that, especially. Alicia, thank you, 50, one time. 80 to everyone, 100. Sorry, 50. I'm doubling yours. Selena, 50 one time. Erica, 50 one time. 100 one time. I can't enter the link for one time. Okay, we will check that. One thing to say is that after the retreat is finished, we're going to send an email to everyone with these links, so that if you haven't or can't fill it out now this morning, then you can do it later. But don't forget to do it. And we will send that email with the links so you can have that. And also this morning, while Rinpoche is speaking in Tibetan, if you don't know Tibetan, that would be a time when you could work on your filling out the thing. Let's see. Rachel from New York, 18 one time, 31 time. Sanya, 108 one time. Susan, one time donation. Oh, here, that's from Tara Bass. She's putting in the links. Links work. I tried it. Okay, Lara. So whoever had trouble, maybe try again. One time, Peter. Thank you. Albert and Jeannie Enders, 50 in a month. Thanks. And Margaret Cormier. I'm not sure how to say that. 10 a month. Great. Okay, Deborah Kent, 30 one time. Jim Bowl one time. Okay, so I think we'll leave this chat open. People can keep pledging, but I don't want to take more of the teaching time. And please keep the energy going. You can also tell others about this situation and share these links with them. And we will send you the email with the links as well. And we can also, when we do the continuation of this retreat or these teachings, we can also keep this going. So thank you, everyone. Yeah, Ani Lama saying, thank you so much for your bodhicitta. And I thank you as well. And maybe now, Stephanie, I'll do the chants. I'll leave it. And then we'll have turn it over to AdzomGR, AdzomGR Sat, and then if he wants to say a few words before he begins, he can. So this morning, everybody, I'm going to lead the chants in Tibetan to make it a little bit faster. Thanks, Moses. He figured it out. We've got 900 monthly. That's okay, but we got to get that up. Oh, and 5,000, that's good. The one time and unknown, It's great. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start the prayers now, and then we'll have time. Somebody, Tarbast, I think, is going to do these totals and be posting in the chat. So we'll begin with the Dechimbawe prayer, and then follow with others. Okay, so let's generate our bodhicitta and our aspirations for these teachings this morning and begin with Dechimbawe. Omya hon shri Dechimbawe wanki potrandu deton soso tope yesheku maja deton pema la pranjene doje nimana wa chempuka chuku nawa tae doje chu jikten wa chu tu che jesasu pema gyabo kode nawa ju nansi shilyon wan chen hiruka sangwa yeshe benza barahi dem chodo be gyabo de chenter Malu kegurik chorik che ma chotun chake wanchu te tunga. Wanze dorje pao dakito nanto nyamba chembo nan. Gagme shanti shede kamsu. Ose mapo kode anakya shisindongu yoshindu parje. Dorje shapa chembo tukini nani nudrup toto soshin. Jagu shapa chembo yi nansi dewa chembo damje pa taye gyutro drawa roka chen tilki kombu shewa jinsupe rajan sasun kilatso gyupe so wadev so jinjila chodan nudrup tokyo pelta da tume wandu so. And then the seventh branch offering. Lama babe latzola, osong yube chatzalo, nojo yitro chupapu, mege ditron tolo sha, duson separ jerang, lame chukur korwako, nganye mide shutso de geso chanchu nimbor. 7 branch offering. And then the prayer to Jeremy Dorje, who was AdzomGR Sat in his past life. Rigzen Dodro Pawo Dorje Dan Gyawe Sipo Pema Wonki Gya Dorje Rabnak Sela Sowa Dev Choki Dan Tumon Nudro Tseldu So Kewa Dumar Damba Jesu Zonse de Usel Ningtik Tawa Toke Rikpa Zimba Dorme Dorjela Soa Depso Chuki Tunudrup So. And Adzomgr Rinpoche supplication prayer. Gyapta gyawe namtan yeme pe katren somden trinchen lamaje rizin jurme tupten jamsola soa devso nyamnen tarshin shu. Short mandala offering. Sashi pochu jonshi mito tran rira lingshi nide gemba de Sanje Shindamite Trua Yi Drokun Namda Shinla Choparsho Idam Guru Ratna Mandala Kamriya Tayami. Quest to turn the wheel of the Dharma. Senchen Namki Sambadan Loyi Jeda Jitabur Chechon Tumon Tepai Chuki Korlo Kordu So. And I'd like to now invite AdzomGR Sat Rinpoche to speak. Thank you. Thanks everybody for your generosity. It's fabulous.
Kangi tu sunyi sonne dawa tamje pambe jire tambe chine te tsemba kodam de la chanzo lo tsombo le ne de me so shin so kawa chine chugi teme barang me tsemba sha shi se chib kinchin shiwa tsolan da ye chan de sumja wa kingi reche da tinle namje kolo jirwa po nasi wando te vinto de ba pema chine da le be so shon chanshi semba shi shi su zinchen ya kanchin te tenda jama le ba 나서 탑기 노르제바에 지존데 전샤블로스원데 우존도 상가라 시리즈 베마카란지 많이 쇼나 소소는 되는지 카드레라마 남라스원데 점닌제베 젠루 전예다 투제노도 냐베 통하베 나로 담버베 비두지 코르데 주그르즈베 랑젠바 주메ズ르샬라스원데 시작은 젠돌라 제젠데 메스 양도도즈 오슬론지 남겐난죠 Jingmeiling Beja La Zowan, the Nidi Tenbishin, the Longchen Ba, subject in Jingmeiling. Juando the Pawando J. Kunjin Yabza Zola Zowan, the Sanjiking Jizo, the Shin not Jambeyan, to Dension the Kirombush. Pemandonga Lingbra Zowan, the Sanjikin Yamayan, Katin Sanjikin Lave. So la Mejala Zowan, the end of the Lona Jella. Kanda Judangi Jidena, the Jelomajo, Kansuda, and the Tembichi Charbe. Sember de Batam J. Dirche, like it on Ludan the Jenge, to whom the Dami, and I'm not working it on Chism. Tam J. Gedo Chedan Tejurochi. Oh, that is the Samala, any Nadu de Lace.
So Rinpoche is conveying his good mornings to everyone there.
Ani Tachron Samagi, Ani Tsudumla, Ani Rupa, Bimese, Kamese, Yawana songs, Bimese, Jesuiran use.
So the fact that we're able to raise such money for Ani Tsultrim's noble purpose is most excellent, and Rinpoche is rejoicing in this activity.
Ani Chita Ani Tsudum Moranda, which Samlotan song, Inata, Cheba Nimba, Nyamlemba, Nimba Chadigures, the Indits Hong Tang, that Lapo and Kaguchema, the retreating, that the retreat country, prisons of Nani, those who were nashing, and it did retreating shooting and too much Chadigures.
So generally, if you think about it, she's a seasoned practitioner, engaged in the Dharma. And so she's given up all kinds of business of this life and dedicated herself to staying in retreats and, in solitude and so on, and keeping her Dharma practice going. So that's great.
Matumni Yushaju Mares, Lega many Yushaju Mares, Lega Yush in the Moranda, Shujel, Dil Samlotani, Lega Yusha Mares.
And if you think about it, it's not that she was been unemployed and then so she had to seek out the Dharma to find some way, but she's somebody who had work before and then renounced that and then is now engaging in the Dharma. So it's not some kind of secondary pursuit, it's a primary pursuit.
And the Morangi Chuga to Jeba, Shuja, Yawakazo Yebadi, Tanda Churons or watching Tangmala, and in Yam to top the Gires, Carlana Morangi, Moranda San Doji Tepichu, Yamlemba Indi, Ranchiku Sangje, Ranjiku DJ to Samlotang Mares, Samlo de Gartangu, Majornam Gitadan and the Semian Tamjes, Samlotan in the Churon Suro watching a Dilapento Gires.
And so if you think about it, one's merit accumulation is equivalent with the one who one is supporting, especially for a person who's practicing Vajrayana, because the main motivation of a Vajrayana practitioner is to engage in the secret mantra for the benefit of all mother-like sentient beings. It's not, and so one is joining in that meritorious accumulation. One is participating in that activity. So it's really great.
Ane dinane that tanda morangi chitula tindegi une chershi shakhen, tambo samlo tanghen dang, 아니 내가 나신기 삼로 땅에 내가 뇌수 죽네 내게 아니 마찬데 표현 상말라 이행원에 아니 두지체스.
And so for those who are assisting her, those who plan to help her, and then who have actually engaged in helping her and so on, Annie Totrim, Rinpoche would like to thank everyone for doing what they can to help her. So thank you so much.
이 내가랑서 다체 최제용 베스나 나랑서 삼로나 가르탄고기열에 마주남게 타다님 베셈젠 탐제스 아니 근로 삼바 장주지 셈제 탑자치와 상황하기 근로 남반이고네 아니 살다데 생고기에서 대다 탐지 제샤지데 안 딘데기 근로나 취디기열에스.
And so this is really in accordance with that special motivation, that altruistic intention, which is the wish to liberate all sentient beings, mother-like sentient beings, by engaging in the twofold motivation of the profundity and the vastness of the Mahayana and the profundity of the Vajrayana. So it's a genuine engagement in that. It's an authentic engagement in that.
나디 나랑서 가상기 참네 마제네다 슝 아니 다 subject number 2바디 차디기레스 다 주미 빼게나네 아니 2바 다 갈라오르 주미 함제 주미랑 진도 때는 법제 딜리우 2바디 차디기레스 딘데 가상기 디라와라 셈제랑 신 주마타불라 장주랑 신 주밍아니데 코르데닝메 주미롤 바로 갈산남기 드링셰버 자스 참데로와.
Yeah, I'm 자고도 레오니버기 골라레 레베.
레오니버기 고고라마레 그루마레.
생각에 인지 톨러리도 건다 달모치 소노는
셈제 신 주마타불라 장주브랑시 밍니데 코르데니메 주미롤바로 갈산남기 데링셰버 자스 디레데
보이 히테리카 담보 담보디 카레이나 지따롱 송다 담보데 마부송고 말이
셈젠랑 주마타불라
Simchen Jumatabo. Okay.
책이 참디 마르데
당에 참샤서 띵아 라스 카이스나데 phone 기통나래도 아슈고 요마레.
사실 컨트롤 기나하고 지래.
Actually, does somebody have the text in English? Because I'm trying to locate where we left off. I've got it on a digital format here, and I can't mark it. Is there somebody there who can tell me what page or where we are? Because Rinpoche is saying from the Tibetan.
Eric, page 20.
Where was the last part?
Let me see. I marked my book last
So
March.
it says illusory sentient beings. Illusory sentient beings, it says. Okay, illusory delight, illusory veracity. I'm trying to find where illusory sentient beings are. Like, is there numbers? Like, I've got numbers that says 11 impure illusions of false appearances. Do you have an?
I on my verse 19 was the last one that he discussed this on my notes.
Okay, verse 19. Okay.
Yes,
okay, verse 19.
Verse 19 in the book, it's page.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So that's where we finished, right? All
Correct.
right. Okay. Ina jumata was semchin treatment kunzu seidu subject chukupa. Shloka chukupa reseidu. Ina puyik tolere midwati. Wongwame, drawame.
La
Daron sonronang the puyik de kandedu. Shloka de puyik tola.
콘저기 칙디 간지르도.
They arise from nowhere. Nowhere do they go. Wongwame, drawame.
데르데 강내 마중 강도
Nesa, Gangdu, oh yeah, Gangdu min, rere. Gangdu mine, Gangdu mesong.
강내 마중 강도 마송시
Oh,
가리 네 추긴 추니당 라신 되는 답이 주마로
oh, did it.
탁주지 있어.
Oh yeah, did it.
어야.
Okay, we've located it. Thank you.
다디나라 시그널 가르송도라네 강내 마중 강도 마송시 가리안 민네 추긴 추니당 라신 되는 답이 주마로 깔상 남기 따위 탁주지 송용베스나 pechaasha songa ina ngaranzuki semde ani shiji dewarshibi nyingbo ina ya re ngaranzuki sem ina yang kawa neye jungyo mara kawa yang dhugu mares kawa yang neyo mares ko rangshingi ani ndene dabe ani juma tabu ani tongbanyi rangshingi di chadegi res dinde ngaranzu nyamsu lengken gangsa deda tamje kalba songbo deda tamje ki ani tawa di treta jedel ta ngaranzu shaya yora tawa di
So,
tebe ta tamje dan tawa imba haku gures ta che gures tawe ta chujis
so these sentient beings, they do not dwell anywhere. From beginningless time, they are illusory. There's not even a Buddha nature in which they dwell. It's all illusory. And so this beginningless state of being in an illusory state is the view. And this view is free from any kind of elaborations, any type of conceptual complexity. It's free from that. So there's no locale in which they abide. That's a truly existent locale, a place. So I'm going to read from the text. They arise from nowhere. Nowhere do they go. They are present nowhere. Such is the true state of things. From the outset of their nature, they are pure illusions. So,
ta dinama garshigi yorlana semjengi nawa inaya re nyangele debigi nawa sanjigi nawa inaya re deda tamji jume rangshin re shigi yor tamji jume rang nangdo sheba semjen rangshin juma tabula chanchub rangshin jume ngani do korde nime jume roboro kalsan namgi diring shebar ja sung yombesena kar sung yorlana semjen do nawa yang juma tabure sanjigi nawa de yang juma tabure di indi korde nigi nawa de denla chikwa jijang resh rangogi maduba jume rangshin ba
so.
아니 랑난 잠디 임바 셰구레스 디인데 칼산 남기 드링 셰버 자라 힌데 마란주기 또 두게 데데다 탐제기 코로와다 냥엘레 데바 니갈 나샤주데 주미기 랑신이 임바 셰구레스 셰버 자스
So, beings are by their nature like illusions. The nature of enlightenment, it too is an illusion. The play of an illusion, samsara and nirvana, are not two. Perceive them thus, O you who have good fortune. So those appearances that appear to sentient beings and the appearances that appear to Buddhas are equally illusory appearances. And so we as the fortunate ones are exhorted to see them as such, as being simply illusory appearances, whether one is a sentient being or a Buddha. all of the display of samsara and nirvana is just a self-occurring mere appearance. And so fortunate ones know this to be so.
tat ya gone jume semjeng ge nawa ya jume rangshin re ane sanji ge nawa ya jume rangshin re lam she so she ba samji mayim ba jumani do ta che gu re stinger de ne ma jalwi chu ge ani le shen dulza mixu me chin sungba shin gayan de mi jumi chuni de tarba de ba ta ge shebar ja sung yong be sena ani jawa zobe sanji 좀 된 데기 최 대다 탐지 주메랑신 le shen de tu ba ji sung yo ma res 대다 탐지 주메랑신 얘기요 res 근데 아니 주메랑신래 로스 줄바지 둘삼지야 주바 메바 믹스 메바 덴바 메바 임비 중진 델라 때네 아니 최탐지 주미 춘이도 아니 주메랑신이도 임바 하고 그래 스타바 데바 다길란데 타르바도 나바 탐지 심베 고파 되고 아니 되게 예나니 대다 탐지 주메랑신이도 타지고 그래
So and so whether one is a sentient being, whatever state one abides in, the state of sentient being or a Buddha, not only should we just know this intellectually, but we should thoroughly absorb this reality, like thoroughly integrate that as a realization, not just intellectually sort of know it on a superficial level. One should simply decide on that. So back to the text, it says, the conqueror has said that things are but illusion. Aside from that, one cannot find a single atom of reality. Understand, therefore, all you who wish for freedom, that nothing has true being. So nothing is established as truly existent. There's not even an atom's worth of some kind of separate reality outside of that illusion. There's not another reference point. And so for those who desire liberation, thoroughly decide on that point. Be conclusive about that. You know, fully integrate that understanding and just simply accept that. So it says that for those who wish for liberation, realize that nothing has inherent existence.
dine mal jume gi yawa to stingiyor namdul gi ta jume gi yawa de la pena namdul gi juma to botan yingi juma to botan dine naso gi juma namdul gi juma la ne changchu gi juma am thar da ishi gi juma ta changchu gi juma la hindi chikba shagi da dina dangbo de changchu gi juma de tengiyor dine ma jume chulyang dedar rikbar cha changchu juma lundu phojur mes jume chulyang dedar rikbar cha jume chul de la changchu gi juma la hindi 아니 륜두 포주르 메바 미도 차다 따도 남가다 니신 누르부다고 레와고 타예 연덴틀레 조바로 다서 쩌단 저외 랑신노 장축기 주마디 간데샤기열라나 아니 랑신기 튕기 줍샤쇼 포주르 메바 남가 이야다바 라 아니 띵기 마겨바 저베 타담제단 저외 랑신 다바 니딩기 산지들라 장축기 주마 샤게스
Namdrol Juma, Yingi Juma, Denis Sumbadi.
Naso Juma.
Yawas La Natsok.
Naso
Juma. Hola, so.
Juma, Naso Juma.
And so now they're going to be, so there's now what ensues, what follows is dividing this, the Juma, which is the illusory appearance, into three categories. There's the illusion of complete liberation, which is embodied by primordial wisdom and Bodhi. And then there is the illusory space, and then there is the multiplicity of illusion. So those are the three types of illusion. With regards to the first one, completely a liberated state, that is primordial wisdom and Bodhi. This is the state which is spontaneously present, free from any kind of transition or change, which is utterly pure like the sky, free of any kind of clouds, any kind of impediment or obscuration. It is the state of twofold purity. So I'm going to read from the text again. The manner of illusion should be understood as follows. The illusion of enlightenment is beyond all change and movement. It is spontaneously arisen. It is unfailing, ever space-like, all-pervading. It is like a wishing jewel, fulfilling all desires. It utterly displays unbounded excellence in actions. It is pure and luminous and free from thought and elaboration.
나서 주말 라긴데 지단기 마타빙올라 미다 주마 킹기 다 미출 댄샤죠 딘줄라 시기요 나서 주말 라긴데 코리 주마 미덴 루아데스 코리 주마 미덴 루아 신예첼라 맨 메신도 낭샤죠 주메게랑신 베나 아니 티네징기 메라 동서부 낭샤죠다보다 아니 내가 나신기 메신 메 아니 데레다 아니 주메기 talangla talangusu nangshajo ani mi miktul tenghen deda thamji miktul jiten yonde une redu da sambe gone nangshajo tinzul lagiyor tultok takse tulnang yingsu nup da tendegi ani naso juma dela tendegi matak bati pena ani tv gi nedi da yonde tungserbu thongaya meba chatu ro ani ko 바로 거기 miktul ten yonde miktul di ko ani miktul imba hak gone miktul di deje 미 툴비 낭샤죠데 인수 느껴그러와 딘데 숨겨요 툴도 다세 툴낭 인수노 링아실레 따랑 미낭신 마다 툴낭 숭진 되마르도 답이 또 뭐메바 인스데다
So then the multiplicity of deceptive appearances, illusory appearances, are like the display that is conjured up by a magician. You know, this is the general illusion of sentient beings in cyclic existence, you know, how things appear to those beings. So they're fooled by those appearances. So they're taking what is unreal and attributing some reality to it, some existence to it. So that's like the various tricks of a magician, magical tricks that a magician would perform. You know, so that's deceptive and unreal. And then there's like the, you know, mistaken appearances that beings have, like, for example, somebody with hepatitis or a bile disorder, they would see the conch as being yellow. Well, that's a distortion. That's a unreal appearance, a deceptive appearance. And then also like magically conjuring up horses and oxens and so on. That's another kind of a delusory appearance. And so those appearances, when the magic is over, the oxen and the horses disappear back into space. It's like that. So I'm going to read from the text. The illusion of samsara is untrue, deceptive. The phenomena, therefore, have no real features, appearing and yet non-existent. They resemble magical illusions. But when deluded thought is cleansed away, hallucinations likewise sink into the ultimate expanse. Just as when the magic ends, the horse and ox no more appear. Impure hallucinatory perceptions, apprehended and apprehender and apprehended, all subside in the primordial ground, which is empty in its purity.
adine mala khordi ingi jumam ani chuni shigi juma asta dingi chikware chuni shigi juma la inde ngaranzu gi jula yebegi shiji dewar shikbi ningbo am shiji dewar shikbi ningbo gi rikti la gyora rik ena ngaranzu da thamje la semjen thamje sanje ju gi ju yore semjen thamje sanje gi rik yore lam shegi yoro o di rikti la 아니 잔주 셈발라야 리과 잔주 셈발라요레 저거 산지비기 둘라요레 마다 코르비기 둘라요레 리디 참말라 찹디요로 와스 디디시 오 디리디 아니 균이 시기 주마음 코르디인기 주마라 근데 딜라라비요레 시기 주마 춘이 포줄메스 시기 주마 아니 시지 대화식비 닝보암 딘디가 리디 아니 콜라 주주 아니 다바 산지기 내가블라야 릭데랑레 마다 코르기 내가블라야 셈징기 라바들라야 릭데랑레 릭코랑라 포주리요 마르디 릭딜라 아니 살 마살기 개발당 다 마다기 개발 차기를 마도베기 다당 마다 균기 춘이데 라도디 셈젤라 여바디 마다과 산젤라 여바디 다과 디기 춘이레 마도베기 거르기 ngola 개발 주니요 마레스 페차샤송 이나 자네 세르네 난게 카잉신 뇌당 뇌샤쟁기 벨지메 실라데 자마기 난기 뇌낭레 예샤주기 아니 남가 디당 세르기 분반낭레 예샤주기 남가 니보데 남가 임발라 찍바레스 이네 치료기 분바딜라 케바르 요레만도 남가디 찍바 찍장레 뇌당 뇌샤쟁기 벨지메라데 뇌기 케바르 레마도 베기 뇌 아니 난 코론 남가 코론라 헬레다 디비아기 케바르 주니 요마레스 에난 자마디 차송와이네 남가디 남가라 팀도그레 세르기 난기 세르기 붐바디 차송와이나에 디 남가디 남가라 팀도그레 마도 세르기 붐바기 남가레 로스 조레 도야지당 자마기 남가디 로스 도야지 요마레스 디 나신 산지 마다비 아니 마다 코르이 네가기 아니 시데당 다바 산지기 네가기 시데라 시 코로나 케바르 주니 요마레스 대신 툴당 도웨랑드기 춘이 펠드 상에 매버네 디니 넬룩된기 공부데 대다르시나 지우 해바인 인스타 딘데진 문에 시딜라 개발 매바 릭딜라 개발 매바 지바인바 셰 시바인바 똑톱송와 이나 안 딘데기 강사디 지우 해바인 인세
So there's the illusory appearances that happen in the context of samsara and nirvana. And so both of these, in the true condition itself, which is the foundation of dharmata, suchness as it is, that ground is shared in the context of samsara and nirvana. So both those options are equally illusory. In the context of being a sentient being, there is that ultimate ground of being residing within that being. And then in the context of being a Buddha, there's equally that reality of dharmata. Dharmata is the reality of both of those contexts, of sentient being and a Buddha. So we say that sentient beings are also in the family of the Buddha. It's not just the Buddhas, but the sentient beings possess that Buddha potentiality equally as do Buddhas. And so in the state of being in Rigpa, in the state of Bodhi, in the state of being a Buddha, all of those states, that Buddha nature pervades all of those conditions. And so even if one is a completely perfected Buddha, pure Buddha, that foundational nature is also illusory. And even for a sentient being, it is illusory. And yet that nature is something that is free from any kind of transition. It's ever present in both contexts. The difference is, though, that it is made evident in the case of a Buddha. It's clarified, it's made evident, it's actualized, whereas in a sentient being, it's not actualized. But in both contexts, it's equally present, that Buddha nature, that Buddha potentiality. It's just a question of the container being pure or impure. For example, in the case of a pot, a pot that is maybe dirty, contains space within it. And also a golden vase, a golden vessel would also have space in it. So in terms of their containing space, they're equivalent. It's just that their appearance is different. Their outer appearance is different. But when that vase is broken or that pot is broken, both of them equally will release that space back into primal space. And so it's the same reality. It's just that the appearance is different. In terms of the space that both containers, the impure container and the pure container contain, there's no increase or fluctuation or obscuration of that space. That space is unaltered. And so equally, when both those containers break, the golden one and the dirty one, they both revert back into the sky-like nature. They subside into the primordial ground. So in the context of samsara, the Buddha nature, the ground of being, is ever present. It's just a question of if one has apprehended that ground or not, or if that ground is obscured to one. But Buddhas and sentient beings are equivalent in the sense that they both belong to the Buddha family of Buddha potentiality. They both can have that. So I'm going to read from the text. The illusion of the fundamental nature refers to ultimate reality devoid of change and movement. The final nature of pure and impure things is like the space enclosed within a vase. The vessel may be made of gold or clay, it may be broken or unbroken, but its space is neither increased nor reduced thereby. Just so, in the condition of delusion, the ultimate reality is not diminished, nor is it greater in the state of freedom. It neither worsens nor improves. This is the fundamental way of being, the final state of wisdom. The wise are those who have thus understood.
다 디네 말라 가산 리우 나네 아니 subject 시 타완 텐라 파파당 람 kumba nyamsu langaya tang jebu ngundu churwa namba sum shebe namne ta die bardo shitawa ani tenla phabadi shusimbar ta dene ma lam nyamsu langwi kabla ani shegir kangse juma tawa jesu jume gomba deme chembo ne ngendo ngarshin jumar sowa debs diande ta tanda jume gi juma la hindi khandita buchi imba tenla phabsung shwe tamji jume rangshin tenla phab juma diang rangshin madubani do tenla pab 아니 타마 타르둘라 아니 시기 주마트부 삼로타네 다 마다기 개발 내갑기 개발 레마 똑바기 시 리바랑라 아니 개발 메바니도 따위군에 tenla 팝송하래 다 딘디 tenla 팝네 다 곰용베스나 컨디션 곰구그레스 ngonro ngarsin jumar sowa taplade ngonro ngarsin laende ta khazandi miram ani shebe kabla ta tangboye ne ma ta gom ngoma jabyongbesena tangbo chabdo semje ani lamin ninjo la sokwa ma gomyongbesena ani lamin ninjo kabla ani sosogi tsawe lama de chizug la ya gom yala dumbala so pini chizug la gom kendege lama de chizug la gom de la lama de idam ge hana do maimba lama de sosogi mitar to komba sosogi ngoe tsawe lama de gom Tindejin gom yombesena lamin najula sobo gomba ani soata bala sobo tindejini ani gom gogyo res
lama kasa yeda mayimba lama ranglak nawade
lama de ayin samba mayimba lama de mira shim andang res
oh yeah onasa. Okay, so thus far originally it was stated that the text, this part was going to be structured in terms of, this threefold structure. Firstly, there is establishing the ground view, and then the discussion on the path, which is the training, the meditation, familiarizing oneself with the view, and then the fruitional state, which is the actualization of the realization. And so thus far, we've gone through the first part, which is establishing the ground view, the fundamental view, ascertaining and coming to a definitive conclusion that all phenomena are like an illusory appearance, that all phenomena lack inherent existence, and that in the context of purity as being a Buddha, that reality is there. And then even in the context of being an impure sentient being, is still that reality pertains. It's still that way. It's all illusory, regardless the vantage point of being a Buddha or a sentient being. And so now we've come to the part where there's a discussion on the path. The path is the training. The path is gaining experience and familiarization. And so how does one do that? How does one proceed in terms of practical application of engaging on the path? It starts with the preliminaries, which are the preliminaries of the accumulation of the Ngondro practice, the preliminaries, starting with refuge and doing the bodhicitta practice all the way up into Guru Yoga, where you supplicate the Guru who's on the crown of your head, not in the form of a Yidam deity, but simply in the Guru's natural form, contemplating that their nature is the Buddha. We make that supplication to the Guru. So continue with reading the text. Once you have grasped the view that all is an illusion, proceed to meditate upon illusion. The great state of the absence of intrinsic being, perform as previously the preliminaries, and pray that you may realize that all things are illusions.
아니 근데 공고를 남나 뉘시 친앙 나서 최대 남 주제왕기 주말 나와데 된라 미된 알올 상탈도 계지 인생 딱벌 곰 수용베세나 아니 치 뉘보 난기 소소기 뉘몬 두숨 나서고 나서베 낭사슈 최 가르당 가리인 송아이 있나야 주제왕기 낭샤주 된라 두바치에 요마레스 디인디 된라 랑싱이 마두버 주민이도 랑싱인바 끼직끼직들라 니모라네 곰 니모곰 챤라 유샤야 마임바 챤라 곰 니모 유샤야 마임바 인생 딱반이도 아니 가레 소속이 아니 강통와 강퇴바 강 젬바 대다 탐지 주메랑나니도 공부그레스.
So what is the actual practice here? The actual practice, I'm going to read from the text. Regarding the main practice, you should meditate at all times, day and night, considering that all things in their variety, both outside and within, appear to you like magical illusions through their causes and conditions. They are in truth unreal, intangible, and unobstructed openness. So all of the variety of phenomena, external and internal, the external situations, the internal reality of being, having emotional reactions like the three poisons, stupidity, anger, desire, all of the causes and scenarios should all be understood to be illusory. So one moment to moment in the daytime, moment to moment, one maintains this realization of the all this outer and inner reality being unreal. And likewise,
Eric, we see that you're there, but we don't hear you. Just want you to know that in case you don't. Eric dropped off. It's a good time to go into that basic space.
okay, hello?
Thank you. Great, we hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, am I back?
Yes, you
Okay.
are. Thank you.
And so day and night, contemplate the illusory nature of all phenomena. With whatever you see, whatever you hear, whatever you remember, contemplate. It's all illusory appearances. So, oh yeah, George Sarilla.
하다님 어떻게 해야 만 이제 dem 동바르정 치료용인 주만이다네 난기 끈독 주마다보데 네 nel루에 실 항상 주미페도 뭐 아데 소용나 아니 차당 되나 아니 달라 ni ya jala dangya la sobegi chadang antiga na shingi ani dewa na dungal la soba ni nyomombe dang karishar songwa ni yang tamje jumani ji teme tongbar chang teda tamje yang jume rangshin re sambe demba mbibar sambe kone ani dede jene samlutang tongbar chang ani chiru nge jumani ne la di a dedu we chiulgi muatang 제가 나신긴 그래 semjen tamjele kinle kejang ani rangi nangi ani kundok tel shagyora deda tamjen jumeran shindes deda tamjen min
Kundok.
des inde nangzam nishi jume pego mo dende
Jum.
나란저기 통샤죠 나란저기 낭샤죠 치르도 줍샤죠 deda tamjen 아니 낭샤죠 짬 나와 짬지레 마도 베기 된라 두번에 바니도 주미기랑 신이도 공부 그랬어.
Okay, so back to the text. No matter what defilements may arise, attachment or dislike, indulging or rejection, look on all of them as magical illusions. Train yourself to see them all as empty and unreal. Outwardly, all things are just illusions. Inwardly, all thoughts are like illusions. They come from causes and conditions, and thus they are deceptive and unreal. They are mere appearances, so meditate on them, employing the example of magical illusion. So, whether one's attached to friends or feeling revulsion for enemies, whether one's happy or suffering, one is trying to accomplish something and avoid something else. All these dichotomies, one should see them as simply illusory. All of that activity is simply illusory. It lacks inherent existence. And so let that all go into emptiness. Let that be refined away into the state of emptiness. And realize that this is all simply labeling and cogitation. It's simply concepts and labeling of phenomena that is distorting one's perception. See it simply as a mere appearance, nangzam. And in actuality, there's nothing established there as something truly coming into being. There's simply mere appearances that are deceptive. And then so don't be duped, and just simply know them to be such. Meditate on that and let that be refined away into emptiness.
nyalse ngarshin chebar jumengang teme chodan jawa phigile tene trubi melam chisharyan jumar sheba tenshin jik dan dol jumar jongdang peljur tabe shin jumatab jumar jongda peljur tabe shin ta nimo ngaranzugi ani ningong ngaranzu nangsha jo da tamje nawa samje re ma do be jumera shin res tongsha jo da tamje jumera shin res jubsha jo da tamje jumera shin res nimo de 다운 니마 치고 레벨하나 말에 세모 냐르 체나양 냐르세 ngarshin chebar jumingang ngarshin ladi ani 가산야 밀람기 갑라 땡용 베스나야 마녜용 베스나 아니 녜단데 아니 칸디다부시 녜고레라 싱기 냐룩 싱기 냐르다 상게기 싱라 페비 냐르도 디나 신진이 아니 냐르고기요레스 대다 탐지 냐르용 베스나 아니 닐람 다 최대다 탐지 주메랑 신이도 똑네 주민강도 데메 쪼단데 뢰기 뢰네 녜용베스네 싱기 냐랍다부지 녜네 아니 최대다 탐지 데버마두바 최탐지 주메랑신 최베 타단자와 레 선배거네 뢰뢰진 로기 뢰네 파티네진 아니 파 뢰뢰진 삼로 땅베거네 녜고게레스 뢰기 뢰 데네 출베 밀람 지샤리양 다 덴데지 녜용베스나 아니 닐람디 다 데두 상에 약도 가레단 가르샤르 송와 이나양 아니 대다 단지 주마르셰비 대신 징강돌 다 대나네 아니 nilam de da tham je yang jume rang shi ni du she jume rang shi ni du she and den shen la de dembar dang shenba dang jikpa dang ngang da la so ba de da tham je ani pan rol le ta nilam gi rang shi ba to yom be se na nilam rang shi to yom be se na nilam gi rang shi de jume rang shi ni du to yom be se na dembar du ba la shen ya cha ya da ji ya da ngang da ke la so ba de da tham je me ba cha do ros de ngang gi dol ne jumar jong na pel jur ta be sing 아니 딘데진네 아니 세모 녀용 베세나양 니람기 나서 인송와 이나야 최대다 던제 덴베 마주바 트베 타담제단 저요거니 주마기 아니 랑신이도 장요거니 딘데이거니 봐 아니 벤 삼로 땅베거니 아니 주메 랑신이도 또 고요레스 벨저 다비싱세
So, as before, when lying down to sleep, relax completely in the state of knowing all to be illusory, unreal, beyond conceptual constructions. Because you understand deluded dreams, whatever may occur to be illusory, all fear that might arise from taking them as true subsides. Training in them as illusions, increase them and transfigure them, travel to the Buddha fields. So just like in the daytime where, all appearances are understood to be illusory appearances, all thoughts are just simply illusory thoughts. All attempts to accomplish something is just an illusory accomplishment. In the same way, that transfer that realization into the nighttime. And so how one does that is, as it was mentioned earlier, you adopt the reclining lion posture, like a lion sleeping on its side, like Buddha passed into nirvana, that posture, the lion posture. And remind yourself that all phenomena are illusory. And whatever dream image that arises, realize that it's lacking any kind of true existence, and simply let go, relax in that knowledge of them, all those appearances being illusory appearances, free from any kind of extreme of existence or non-existent and so on. Just simply relax in that state of sleep and realize the illusory nature of any kind of pleasant experience or unpleasant experience, of good and bad, pure or impure. Realize that it is an illusory appearance that has no reality to it, no true existence can be found there. And so in that way, one becomes free from clinging to any kind of reality, free from any kind of fear or anxiety. All of that dissolves. And one reaches a state which is free from any kind of mental complexity, free from any kind of elaboration, free from any fixation on existence. And then there's that thorough realization of the illusory nature of phenomena, being like a juma, which is a magical apparition, like an illusory in appearance. Gwanda, Rinpoche sung de che kwarchi che la sha dozo rabre drabchik yapo kotsu ma song.
lam gombe ki tebuni
Oh yeah.
ta jumege tebudi kar ene kurwe shinje rang dolje lam gombe kurwe gi kurwa de la shinji chaya but the petroleum betena, Jumar Dolne, that and Miranchi the Tone, or what the yes. The Jumat to make it Anshini doing but Rotan in Tonchi. So watch him with Jumanga Zole, Jumata will you in
Okay, so perform this practice as described before. And by this means, your clinging to the real existence of samsara will dissipate all by itself. When it subsides through being seen as magical illusion, the state of non-abiding nirvana is attained. The twofold aim, illusion-like, is gained all by itself. So train in the illusory condition of all things. So the outcome of one's training of meditation and becoming familiar with seeing everything as being an illusion is that one will be liberated from cyclic existence. One will have this realization of everything being illusory appearance. And in this way, one will realize that all phenomena, is simply this illusory appearance. And one will abide in the state of non-abiding nirvana. And so this completes the second chapter.
Sumba de la Gare, Bana, Jumiranjin, Kapame Bartembi Gela, on Ranjini to Kapar Yang, Javi Migur Taburshe, Sumba Kanda, Legacy, Yang, Nendigi Sung, Shedda Tanje, Migutabu Sung Shaju de condition, condition Migutabu Demand Yawujin.
May I jump in? I'm sorry, Rinpoche. When you turned your pages, perhaps your mic moved because the sound isn't as clear. So if you could just give a check to your mic and have a little sound check.
I Rinpoche Sung dots and Masawa Drabachi Chasung. Drazupki Chik Tuk Dangi Badra. Dratsup Chala microphone, right? Chik.
Logni Shego Serbe.
Oh, the Tsikashi Chesha, right? Gonda.
Nabado, any Chetamji Jumeranshi, Gakwa Meper Tembigi Jela, that Dinema Garting your Chetamji, one Mepe Ranch, one Meba, any Migurta Bigi, Ranshi Meba Nitu Tingi, in the young Derejevi Migurta.
Oh, that's so.
Never shaking in the shed the Datanji Migurta Bula, Sungure, Kandiji Yore, Didi Maya Wujin, that launching by Maya Wujin Sungin, the in the Chronos Neroje.
What's up? And so thus far, in the last chapter, all phenomena were concluded to be illusory. And so that illusory nature is unhindered. So the flavor of that is that it's unhindered. This next chapter will demonstrate how there is no coming, non-arising or not coming. The previous chapter was it's unhindered, unceasing, and that this chapter will emphasize the lack of arising. And so just as Buddha used this example of the trick of sight, an optical illusion, mikyol in Tibetan, we will demonstrate, Longchenpa will then demonstrate and explain how all phenomena are like an optical illusion or trick of the sight. So it says, listen, I shall now explain the words of the victorious one, that all things are like tricks of sight, just as through a certain form, a trick of sight appears, likewise in the nature of the mind, And through the power of diluted habit, the optical illusion of samsara is contrived. So Longchenpa is now going to explain how this is working.
다단다 디 미교고네 텔라 파베 델라양 디 시타웨 텔라 파베당 람 곰베 냠수 라야당 디 곰베기 데부스 넘버 숨셰야 디나네 당보 시타웨 텔라 파베 당보 미교르 라힌데 간데지 샤고게르라나 페나 ngaranzu 미기 딘데지 지리용베잖아 숙직들라 숙니 통그랑 디더부질라 삼당고게르스 미교르 디 지다르 숙레 미교르 나와신 셈닝안레 박샤 출비티 코르에 미교르 메난 두르와두 강다르 나와 디다르 미교르신 페나 ngaranzu 숙델라 숙락와델라 미기 빠틴데 디비용베잖아 니 통화 난신 ngaranzu기 셈디기양 박차 숙첨부 델라 템베고네 다 마다기 투비고네 아니 코로와다 양이 코로와델라 아니 툴리옴베세나 미요난신 메발라 여반이 통로게 페나 믹티르 믹마즈리고로 숙직만데 여마르디 믹티치르니 타양 숙니 통그레 이네 숙니 조비어 말와 디난신 아란족이 셈디기 바샤기 코로와디 아니 코로발 툴리고네 아니 마닥발라 다과 아니 대간나신 라신 마두발라 두바니도 낭샤죠 레마도 빼기 모마딘데 여르벨나 여마레스 강다르 나와 대다르 미겨르신
So, and again, the format here that is used in demonstrating that phenomena are like an optical illusion is firstly to talk about the ground, ascertaining that, that on the ground level, that view is that all phenomena are like an optical illusion, and then they're talking about the path context of the practice, how to become familiar with that, and then the ultimate effect of that, the fruitional level where that leads. And so, just like, with the optical illusion, it's like if, say, you press the sides of your eyes, or you squeeze your eyes, and you can distort the forms that are in front of you. So where there actually is just one form, you're seeing two forms because you've distorted your vision by pressing your eyeballs on the side. And so, so in the similar way, because our minds are under the influence of deeply entrenched habitual tendencies, impure habitual tendencies, we distort phenomena and see something that's not there. So despite the fact that phenomena in nature are pure, because of our distortion, we've introduced impurity. We've superimposed an impure vision upon pure reality. And so that, just like when you squeeze your eyes, you've created two forms when in actual fact there's one. So in that fashion, we've, due to the influence of our tendencies, our habitual tendencies, we've distorted reality, and so it's like an optical illusion. So, so it says, a trick of sight appears. Likewise, in the nature of the mind, and through the power of deluded habit, the optical illusion of samsara is contrived. The false appearance of something non-existent, however it appears, it is like the trick of sight.
다 디네마 가르땡이르라나 ngaranzu 이야 고네 가르셰송 숙라 니 메발라 니 타도 진 디니 ngaranzu 셈디기 박샤기 고네 출발에 에시에송 다 딘디 출발 딜라 양저 툴니 닝툴도 아니 툴리옴베스나 코르왈라 참 아니 도기어스 디 간드rel라나 미케 덴버 셈비 지발루 율게 미겨 셉도 징바나 데메 다도 숨이 툴라 떼 슬라인디 미케 덴버 셈비 지발루 라인디 아니 부구 충중 대다 탐지 아니 다 담로 땅 마시 부구 충중 대다 탐지 제모제 용베서나 제모제 디 아니 부구 딘데 용기도 돌 딘줄라야 문에 제모제라 콘조 문에 고르 딜라 그럼 마주비 돌아 양저 딜라 민군에 레 삼베고네 툴니 안 제모제 디나신 가란조양 다 치료기 율가이 안 숙다 디로 레잘라소베기 이게 넘버 10이 거네 나란족이 현진 착비 거네 안 될라 다당 다길 준비 거네 아니 보고 중중기 이제 뭐지야라 차고 나시 나란조야 딜라 차비 거네 아니 마 데메라 아니 툴족이요레스 데메 다도 손이 툴라데스
So this distortion, first there's the primary distortion of being deluded by about what's actually there. So in the case of somebody's, there's one form, but they squeeze their eyes and see two forms. So that's the primary illusion. But then there is the illusion that ensues from that fundamental error. And so there's the drama of life that unfolds. The rest of samsara ensues from that we roam based on that fundamental error. So that's like the double delusion, the second wave of delusion that stems from the primary one. So thus we roam in samsara. So it's like, as the text says, the optical illusion of samsara is contrived. The false appearance of something non-existent, however it appears, is like the trick of sight. Childish beings are deceived thereby. Unskilled, they cling to it as real. Caught in the trap, the trick of sight, the objects of the five sense powers, they cling to self, though there is nothing there. Just look at how they're deceived. So like children playing with dolls. So first there's the fundamental error, and then there's the drama of getting lost in that whole reality of thinking that the doll is some kind of being, getting lost in that whole role playing. And so that's the deeper, being more deeply embedded in this whole illusion. And so we're completely caught up in that state. So we misconstrue what we perceive, which is the five sense objects, sights, sounds, taste, tactile sensations, so on, the various experiences of the five senses. Those are experienced by the ideational consciousness, by the consciousness. And we attribute, in an unknowing way, we contribute some kind of existence to that which is non-existent. So we fixate on it, we think it's permanently abiding, we think it's real, and so on. And so from beginningless time, we are deluded in this manner. So we completely get it all wrong.
자존심
자성.
나시니지 대독 토메나 메신나와 마르메 디마당 믹지르와레 수닌 이바당 녀몬 초마 체미 민바신 스테인데 다 나시니지 대다탐지 대독 아니 토멘 메 대다탐지양 메신나와 마르메 디마신 디마당라데 아니 베남 가란조 첸라 마르메 파르샤나 마르메기 아니 디나파 통야라 소바다 요 마르데 이네 통샤죠 믹지르네 수니 통샤죠 대나신제는 녀몽보 망고지 촉네 아니 제목이 민반나신제 알아서 토샤슈레스 마닥 낭라 딱낭 예송미 신도 따나랑신 탈레데 카드마지 되미치니도 데링기네 예버 똑버자 데인데 마닥 신도 페나 군줍된바 마닥 냠가웨랑신 군줍된바 근데 땅 낭라 딱신 제송와이네 된담발라 예송메바 아니 신도 딱나 데다 탐제양 아니 다시 타당 제위기 랑신 탈레 대비기 카자 마지 되미추니도 인데 아니 뒤데링이 송데 아니 최대다 탐제 최베 타 탐제단 자와니도 임바 마다치고 냠가와 아니 랑신 최베 타 탐제단 자와니도 임바 예버토고 그래스 예버토 버지 된데진 아니 삼 오르지 된다면 오니 아니 동바 랑신 메바니도 임바 또고 그래스
Okay, so unskilled, they cling to it as real. Caught in the trap, the trick of sight, the objects of the five sense powers, they cling to self, though there's nothing there. Just look how they are deceived. Phenomenal existence, universe and beings, happiness and sorrow, high and low, appear while non-existent. They are like shadows in the lamplight, or the moon seen double when one's eyes are pressed. And so, just like the shadows that come from a lamp or a butter lamp, you see shadows and make different shapes on the walls, and believing those to be some kind of reality when they're not, or to see two moons when you press the eyes, or to see different forms when you press the eyes, when there's only one. This is the basis for all kinds of emotional reactivity. And in the impure context, it's what generates relative truth. Relative truth is all this action of this delusory appearance. And so upon investigation, relative truth, one doesn't come up with anything real there. And then in deeper investigation, one realizes that it's actually free from the four extremes. And so then one can just simply rest in a happy way, not being overly perturbed by whatever takes place, enjoying the reality of absolute truth, which has no self-nature and is empty in its own being. It's totally empty. So one can just simply rest in that realization and not engage in reactivity.
Dine mala ani gartingir lana ta ya gone tebe ta thamje dan dalwa re besena yang sibe thala lungwa re bes yana tabe thala lungwa re bes diam mares chedani gi tadan dalwa re bena tullang shime migur ta bode tawa dalin thengi kundu che la de tulbegi nawa shime bala nang sha jo re ma do begi ranshingi ma du ba indi tawa ne ko bebi jumze tela teni chebe thala milung se 아니 답에 탈라에 미운 거래 동라 매신 나와 아 동바 임바 매신도 낭샤죠 낭신도 동샤죠 임비 중생 될라 때네 딱베기 타지도 딱관이 돼 차고 말했을 텐데 랑신 맞이 되마 또 버자스
Understood. And so how does one conduct oneself in becoming familiar with this? What's the meditation training involved with this? Well, it's not to is to recognize this illusory appearance, which is free from the two extremes. That is the extreme of the eternalistic view and the extreme of the nihilistic view. So to overcome the nihilistic view, the eternalistic view, we realize that these illusory appearances that are appearing have no ground, no genuine ground of existence. And so that helps us overcome the eternalistic view. And then to overcome the nihilistic view, we realize that there's emptiness, which is despite the fact that there's nothing there, and yet there's the semblance of something appearing. So that emptiness is appearing as a semblance of existence, but it's not in existence. And so that helps us to overcome the nihilistic view. It's simply the appearance of emptiness. And so the two extremes are overcome in this by meditating on that, by realizing the groundlessness of appearance and the fact that the emptiness can appear even though there's a lack of appearance, a genuine reality of some kind of truly existent appearance.
기타르 타그링 양암 탕질나 중암 침부로 나와 니신도 다음에 다도즘이 중월에 코르이 출랑침보 대단항세 기타르 타그링 양암 탕질나 라인데 탕침보 제마기 탕침보 디나라 조용베세나 알아서 니기 아니 니마 소우지 샤려온베세나 제마딜라 아니 니마 사부 샤리면 베스나 제만나는 매 버전나시 미키 툴니 데 미여져 데 통로 와스 당진나 뭐다 아니 소소기 아니 된대기 다 룽바 타 링동기 거네 아니 당 최중기 거네 디나시 나왔다도 나란도 줄라야 다음에 다우도 짐바 충을라데 다음에 다우도 짐바 다 매발라 다도 증이 수레 마릭바 고 마릭바 슉 최중기 왕기 거네 툴 코르에 툴난침보 대단남 인데 나란도기 줄라 마릭바 아니 예비 주든 데라 때네 데라 녀몽바 아니 예망기 왕도 데라 때네 아니 툴난디 인디진 통구여레스 코르에 툴난침보 대단남
그거는 so phenomenal existence, universe and beings, happiness and sorrow, high and low, appear while non-existent. They are like shadows in the lamplight or seen moon seen double. Oh, sorry, the next one on the next page. So false appearances are groundless, just like optical illusions. They are rootless and without true features of their own. When examined, they are empty. They have no being and yet seem to be. It should be understood their primordial nature is to be unborn. Just as in the middle of a desert plain, a small thing seen from far away, yet may yet seem vast in size. From just a slight attachment to a self in that which has no self, the vast hallucination of samsara manifests. So just like if you're out on the hot plains of a desert, out there in the sand, there's this effect of a mirage may appear. And so all kinds of things, big things and small things, there's a distortion that may happen. And so based on this mirage phenomena, we misconstrue what's there and see something that's there that's actually not there. And so likewise, internally, where there is no self, we misconstrue there to be some kind of self. And this is based on our ignorance. There is no self, but we think there's a self based on our non-recognition, our ignorance. And then coupled with the emotions, then there's this full-blown distortion because of the reactivity of, the distorted notion of self based on ignorance brings about this the conflicting emotions, which make things appear that are not actually there, just like a mirage.
뉴메디 카신 제벌 매벌 냠바나 매나 미여다 비시발라 되메 다도 맞은 지신 쇼스 다 추비고네 나샤주디 출바 임버 또 송아이나 이제 뉴메디 카신 제벌 매벌 냠 매나 미여다 부시발레 아니 되메 다도 맞은 아니 다 가세 추바디 아니 추바니도 또 송아이나 아니 다도 진예시요 말와 되네 되메 다도 맞은 아니 그런 랑신 강임바 데라 아니 냠버샤스 지신 쇼스
맞아. When these hallucinations are investigated, they are found to be unreal. When you understand that, just like space, they cannot be removed, just let them be and do not cling so foolishly to this world's real existence. So at the time when you've realized the illusions to be just that, simply illusions, then the fixation subsides. The fixation on the abiding of that phenomena, like it's persisting as being something real, is undermined by that realization of it just being an illusion. And so at that time, the advice then is just simply to leave it as, just relax and leave it there in its own nature as it is, in a loose and easy manner. Just let it be in its own nature.
dine mala trubi nawa de ani truba imba la to song na ani samlo gande de bushik tang gu re lamna ngai ni yin dene ta ba yin se karyang ma jin chiryang ma tok jin ngo nge so me be nawa la chore shembe sepji chi jari dewe che du mikwa kyunda de kanan dembe tong ba shebar ja sta truba de an tuna imba ni to tok song na ani deda thamje rangshi me ba ni to yom be se na ani samlo de da bushik res.
So when we realize things to be that, at the dawning of that realization of things simply being an illusory phenomena, you just simply let it be that way. That the phenomena, just let them be in their own place. So the fundamental state of all phenomena is their primordial condition, pure from the beginning. Do not cling to them. Do not conceptualize. Regarding those appearances that have no self-identity, that could be recognized. What point is there in getting trapped within the cage of partiality and clinging? Give up all concern for such phenomena. Understand that what appears is void of true existence. So it's just simply let them be in their own place of rest and do not react. Just simply relax in that realization of their identity as being illusory. Don't fiddle with it, basically.
Ashi tawa ten la pap sine lam nyamsu lam korde shege. Dedara chugin migyur tar togne, chue deda tanje migyur nirangshi ni to togne, semye den la jishin lo shak ja. Ta tene den de ani migyur tabu tok sawa inde soso ki sem den lele kone ani migyur nashin rangshi meba ni to khande shayo de nashin lo shak ja. Ngendo ngarshin migyur sowa tep ta ngendo ngarshin ta chabro semje ani yani mata nejene an lamin najer komdan de da thamje ngarshin soata apse ngarta jumegi na share milamgi na share on de na shi samdang gures.
And so this is what constitutes arriving at the view, definitively arriving at the view, which is the ground. And so that means simply, and the view here is to understand that all phenomena are simply like a mirage, and just simply let be, relax in naturalness. And so you cultivate that. You do the preliminary practices as they were described before. The 5 aspects of the Ngondro. The 100,000 refuges, bodhicitta, vajrasattva mandala, and guru yoga, and so on. And then engage in this practice of seeing everything as a mirage. Supplicating the guru for the blessing so that one can have that understanding of reality being mirage-like. Or optical illusion. Migyo ra. Yeah, optical illusion.
Ngüshi de dine mala khandeji nyamsu lang gobe de da ngwendo la so sawatam ne ngüshi de khandeji nyamsu lang gobe yore lamna ngüshi chugin miyur tar gomde sa ngüshi chue de da miyur na shi rangshi ma tukwa ni to gomde suk ne tembe tongba miyur ta suk ta suk la so wa tukta ani yul tukta suk da de ro re la so wa shegi yore de sung yore suk ne dembe tongde miyur ta Drani ani takpe tongde miyor shin. Jidang ro rekja jang miyor tang drashin. Yidang chue jang miyor tabu de. Ganyan denpa mebe ngaji loyan zinshin mebe kon lola shaa. Stendi ta sukda diro rekja la sokwa tang. Teka nashin wangbo dhru tang, nabar sheba tso dhru tang. Teta tamje ani miyor tang tsungpa yinpi junzin tela tenne ani teta tamje ani denpa mebe nyangshin yido loyo kone tende ziming kone ani shaa goyo kres.
So the main part of the practice, so again, read from the text, as the main part of the practice, train yourself in seeing all things as optical illusions, tricks of sight. Of true existence, form is empty. It is like a trick of sight. Sound is void of sound. It's like a trick of sight. Smell and taste and touch are all of them like tricks of sight. The mind and mental objects all resemble tricks of sight. Everything is void of true existence. It is in this understanding, leave your mind relaxed and free from grasping. So, work with sound being just like an echo and sights being just like a mirage. Engaging with the 5 types of objects, sights and sounds and so on, and the 5 senses, the visual faculty, the auditory faculty, the tactile faculty, and so on. All of these are simply like an illusory appearance, like a mirage. Train in that. The 5 consciousnesses related to sight and sounds, and then the mental consciousness and so on, are all simply this like a magical illusion, like a optical illusion, the trick of the mind, trick of the sight. And in that state of that realization, just simply let be. Just simply relax in that state of having realized that all of this is just a delusory appearance.
아니 미기 니가 곰당 되지 다 세모니기 갑라양 컨디션 공고요라나 닌신 날세 닝거 셈 송라세 다 닝고나신 아니 마냐리용 베세나 아니 삼로디 카르탕고르 닝가라 셈 송라 최근 미겨 장외 앙들 냐르 최대다 탄지 미겨나신레 삼비코네 삼로딘데 땅에코네 냐르고그레스 밀람 신소 나신 예바차르라데 밀람 신소 나신 예바차르라데 다다게 가세단다 데 주미기 때나 시험 베서나 아니 니람디 통용 베서나 니다 데다 탄제 아니 미겨기랑 신임바 랑신 마주바니 바임바 딘데고네 삼로 땅용 베서나 아니 니람 야고 통나 가야당 두부 통나 두야당 안데가네 신앙서부 통하는 자야라서 가야 매비고네 졸위고네 안 삼로 딘데 땅we고네 예고 그래스 예버 차르스.
So that's how one would do the practice in the daytime. And then you would carry on the practice in the nighttime. So it says, just as in the daytime, likewise, when you go to sleep, concentrate your mind upon your heart. Sleep then in the knowledge that all things are tricks of sight, and it is certain as before that you will recognize your dreams as dreams. So in a similar fashion, one continues the practice, focusing, just as you're going to sleep, you draw your attention to your heart and focus there, and reflecting upon that everything is like optical illusion. And in the same way as was mentioned before, you try to recognize your dream, have a lucid sleep and recognize the dream, apprehend your dream images. And just like it was mentioned before, seeing everything as an illusory appearance, magical apparition, you would then see everything as being like an optical illusion and free of any kind of self-nature. And then not react to, if it's a pleasant dream, you don't become overly elated. If it's an unpleasant dream, become depressed. Or if it's a nightmare, become filled with terror. Just to remain in the equal state, recognizing all of that just to be like an optical illusion.
lam gombe gi tebuti karelana nyamdo kawa miyor tabuti kangla teme tokbe shukle chung se ta dendegi ane chede da tamje miyor ni du tokbe gi jumzen dela tene di tokbe gi shukla tene kar chungirelana zime sanga kagrup tulba deda tanje pa shik 아니 시기ombe서나 소소기 줄라 젠당 멤버십바 땡인진 라수베 연된 데다 탐제 아니 소소기 줄라 두비아당 준돌라소바 두비아 잘부 추즈 도긴 덴비치드 잘부기 추다 자와조베 선지 좀 된데 추기 다고 추기 제진바 조와 semjen 탐지에 타발라 덴버제킨 도긴 덴베 예치나 아니 준센델라 때네 아니 추데다 탐제 미요다보레 삼베기 된다디 안데네 삼로 땅고요. 데인데 타도기 제부디 가래 최탐제 랑신 메바. 아니 미규르다 보기 시동비기 내로도 또 용베스나 아니 소소 코로알라 녀버 중 코로알라 녀버 중 용베스나 아니 타마타 냥일리 데부디 톱루레스 톱데스 아 조바침부 주망한 소레 미규르다비 뉴스바오스
So, even the occurrence of experiences and realization is like a trick of sight. Spontaneously, the realization comes that things lack true existence, and in the state of openness, devoid of clinging and fixation, delusions of accepting and rejecting all collapse. Powers of vision. So the fruition of this path here, by the power of one seeing things as an optical illusion, there's all kinds of attainments that ensue from that. One is free from fixation. One no longer tries to accomplish nor to abandon. There's various samadhis that are attained and miraculous powers that are accomplished. So it says, delusions of accepting and rejecting all collapse. Powers of vision, preternatural clairvoyance, all the qualities of concentration will be gained. Possessing thus the treasure of the teaching of the conqueror, you will become the guide of every being. So you become like the victorious Buddhas, and you'll become a guide of sentient beings, a leader. The treasure of the teaching of the conqueror will become, possessing thus the treasure of the teaching of the conqueror, you will become the guide of every being. Meditate, therefore, that everything is like an optical illusion. So also this means that by having this insight into things being an optical illusion, this will generate in one authentic, definitive emergence or renunciation. The wish to completely renounce cyclic existence, and then one will achieve higher levels. So meditate, therefore, that everything is like an optical illusion. So that completes the third chapter on the Dzogchen teaching of everything being like an optical illusion. So now Rinpoche will kindly offer us the transmission of the lung for the root text. Tabude Nandajina Wagamela number Matana Magaji, Zela Namdino, Shindajina, the Mizume, Yemi Raji, Talene, Kanyam, Jedi, Summit, Nam, the Raji, then Davishabaji, the Nazakujina, Milan, the Tayajina Communion, so I damage the general chapter to the James, the Chicken, the Vangana, the Majimara, the Commission, Nazola, Jibela, the general managers. Atanazo, Jalama, the Kanyam, the Jiba, the age, and other vision. The children and the Fajimelan, and the scene, the Sudra regime, Nangil, the Ocean, the Milan. Kazan Peji division and Danson Milam Dana Yigi Yul, the renowned Melanson, the Sun, you know, the Milan, the Melanaki, Comaji to the Milan, China, the Mea Vision, and Sansan to the Sunday, you'll cock when you Regada Milani simulation numbers and one is the Chojam and what imagine that also took under imagine the book of the
나 이름이 제라 지문이 되는 님이랑 이제는 대다르된 거 메라는 선을 배거나 나라 되는 게 좀 더 가네. 데네라지 되면은 이름이 나면 그냥 되는 식으로 좀 지신 쓰는 게 지금 맨날 되는 줄은 되지랑 거 맞지? 되는 거 나야 나왜 되는 예마지 메시 나야 버지 또 별라라지 된다. 맨날 지들 맨날 나기 아니다. 니 송마야 니 마송나서 좀 이런 되는 나라 메시 시자저 셔버지 대단히 뭐라도 고마지 스머니게라도 근데 마이저는 거 뭐냐 돼. 농조라도 다다 메베진이나 아가신 거는 성가지로 나 밀란도 베데 밀레 밀란지로 토마 밀란지도 밀란지로 밀람 것도 돼. 근데 밀란세나 이제 되네 밀람도 베지로 대야메진 주변에 밀람다라는 거 무슨 데서 로드 베셔버지 되네 투신지로 해는 바에 밀란이는 디시전이즘이 거는 주신 거 뭐데 내시면지 되네 기지전이 나 살아시네 거는 나가도 주로 되면 되네 저도 저 먼저 간다. 되네 다비신 요건이 오면서 가는 줄은 되시 좋아도 그런 이시 되는 좀 나지 이제 근데 주변에 대들 주여를 건 내려면 그런 되네 양수 이거도 대다른 인생 밀람된 거는 그 삼월쯤에서 라와 리단 찍고도 미지들은 이제 되는 좀 냠도서 타르도 승리 되면서 나라는 지고 전에 밀란도 베더니 나한테 제 밀란도 베서 도고치 뭐지만 아주 밀란도 베더 담보야는 제 지문도 지나라지 문제야지 지들 녀석 제 녀석이 되면 저는 이제 뭐 예전에 저런 말해서 이러면 감정도 리드 주지네 신고 대어링 알아서 메미로도 받아나 집어 재미래나 가지고 나 말이 원기 빠져 또 나서 얘는 좀 라시 메란 나와니 문제 좀 이제 와르는 데면서 데리니 등이 뭐 또 보지 나서 거도 지나 라시 실라 가라지면 마지 돼 나비 재미 지어지는 라시 좀 마도 좀 이제 되기 전에 이 집에 남지 배지면 되는 지다리랑 가지나 지보다 달아마지나 대지적이라 라시 배지 마시보다 좀 이제는 나 주는 거지로 나 배양을 배주 배싱이지로 나 잠시 고른 배주나 라시 좀 했으면서 나 자신이 되신지 뭐 이제 다다마다 가도 지나 그런 얘기를 나 거기 좀 리다 말이 실내 되는 데네 되면은 되면 나 이제 좀 셔도니까 가도 집은 면은 나 간단히 얘기 좀 이런 데 중에 마다지면 되는 이미지들은 다 답이 좀 많이 몰라면 서던 저거는 손이름이 이런 자체 말이나 이 시점에 저거는 들리는 나고니 된 것도 주로 배에 좀 맞던데 좀 맞대 장하다 배냐 좀 내대면지는 지금들은 대대저저 지다저랑한테 벌어 지나 되지나 도와리 이런 바시 좀 나한테 지는 소문에 예매달래 대비치 받는 좀 해는 좀 매대대 주매지나 주매대지는 도저 나와시는 되네 좀 젠레 지시지만 것이 지고 저러나 그래도 좀 지다저저 주매라질라 되나는지 대들 모두 베타메 그러지는 되네 되기 이런 강내 뭐지 강도 뭐서 가야미는 라지는 나가는 이런 스미는 아니면 코디 님이 주매는 가서 남이 대시 보지 제일 도자미즈미지 소모지 간나 되면 더블 되면 주매들은 아니면 이제는 보다 버려는 되는데 주면 다스 저단 되는 주면 시지르면 투도 되면 랭아 실라 따람미나지 마다나이즈메제 말에 답했다는 거 하면 시기 좀 하시는 다다마다 지나 되는 이런 데다 미는 대신 또 주니 베트상에 메버지 되는 대다시네 집에 개발에 간서 좀 더 배도 배지 주면 되는 근데 이제는 이런 좀 대나미리 하고 되게 지지는 차단 가루 좀 지지라 좀 이제 지러나 게는 이런 지나 좀 나선이 좀 해보가 인생하신 좀 배면 대매 뜨던 되는 되는 되면 좀 하시고 주마지나 배지나는 좀 더 배는 되는 거 좀 하면 미마들은 대시 좀 더 똑같이 좀 하도 좀 레어도 니보 양도 저 좀 지들슬레메 나와있으면 그러면 간주는 미게 되고 이런 나스 리제 되도 도면 남 메지 나오면 있는 메산저는 좀 맞습니다. 마다 나라를 되시는 나버지는 나가는 대리인에게 받아 보지 투나 앉아나 투나 심에 미에도 배서 어린다 답이는 나라시 보지 제가 다른 얘기는 중국들은 매매들은 그러는 거 주내되고 있는 게 지금 이런 민항을 데메다도 좀 뭐지나 가야 있는 가야 맞은 게 너무해서 그런 최선으로 내내 쉬지나 가나데메도 보지 대들시나 미에도 내전으로 된게지나 거 저는 게시구나 미에도 선생님이 다네도 그냥 이단 축제미에도 가야 되면 너 지금 지신지르면 책임이에도 그러면서 냠단도 민단도 갈라되면서 괜찮은 지나는 제외 취재 저기는 대신미에도 된 것이 도과지 뭐지만 미에되면 레오데서 뭐 양들 제외 미지되면 성모되는 지도 책임을 되면 섬나 다선 지는 주변에 대랑ong에서 가면 아지님들은 마지막 거 되는 점에서 내가 싶어지다 나는 저는 네버나이미니 이면에 가바나이는 나라라시면 이제 가다미가 되는 미지는 내가 메시나라라지 때문에 이런 주변에 지면들은 내가 가지면 알아서 저런 되는 데는 제대로 그냥 건강하시 주면 샘게 준저에 되면 세망하시 다음에 가나미지는 성질은 제일 고마이라 라시면 조과치 뭐지만 미지 때문에 레오데 시바 양들 제일 시도는 지도는 점에는 선생 발라냐 보이면서 뭐든 지게 뭔가 다스 뭐든 이심에서 영어지나 도다듬에 그러지는 지도전은 나라미 유저는 전화지는 메신도 내내 제가 메신도 소리지는 소 매라 난시는 거 마주비시 남바마가 투는 미담 명시는 주다라지는 야말은 주는 타이마게 되면 주다다부는 서지메는 생각하는 주다나지는 나서는 나지는 무슨 미도진이도 보지 멀리 저기 주는 시단 남에 섬이는 제시처럼 야도 마삼 찍도 미네 데미지 강이게 슈도 데미지는 지시 추진 같은 쓰면 나서 그것도 주변에 이런 델라이 멜로드는 다들 실무나 시도나 건드는 지금은 상가 이버는 저심 율남의 동추다다 보지 로양 신동 좀 셔러나 선생님이 예전에 진술을 조금 간전 roz으면 처음에 되어지면 대단신으로 데미지랑 대달도 나가는 게 매여되면 진나지면 진나 대의 말로 진나 선생님이 이 시간에 이들이나 나와있는 섬이나 생장가 지나 만나자면 있는 게 많아지면 당서 슈도다 버전에 얘네 가지는 조바치 묻지만 가서 슈도다 빌려오된 가봐와 양대 제외도 지다면 선거들은 지다들 진전이라지나 진전이나 데메다문이나 다자다지는 지나주나 쓴다 쓰면서 보는 대다르도 내가 나되지면 그저 나되면 신으로 지다 나지는 로지고는 이들이 또 배저에 맞은 있으면 대다시나 주에 버리는 데면서 이거는 옛날으로 지다 그도 말해주는 매난 다자다고 데르 참대 조르는 이거는 대단한 애들은 좀 심해서는 예마머지는 되면 가르치는 데는 된데 나와 다시는 될라지는 가지고는 보시는 양도 탑니다 가지시는 가르치는 지인서 되면 그러면 대신주는 하하 되는 거는 뭐 이런 서서 알로 예르는 자신은 미게 된 말씀이 되면 아주 발라 잠잠 재미다다 버스면 다다서 다선 거는 양도 지는 또 배다나고 윤종하신 다시서 당기시는 그라든지는 나라고는 세벌 되면 너는 될라승기 거르되면 다정 이런 도선기는 멜라나든지는 대신은 바로 쓰는 켈라메나 나에서는 신다다지는 그런 달라 된도 맞은 데미지 나기다 예도매 그러 제가 혼자 시다 매진에 법에서 비주면 링기제 좀 세몽아시 시버르지다 잡아다니는 대시 다시 답이든 거 도와주면 다시 되면 레오데 두고 양들 제비 디스런이나 소모대양 commission 되는 무슨 된도 있는 도마비는 대양 알아면 선생님 대신 메라 나와나서 바지 투비 있는 미다 간대되면 맞다 이런 지정 기술은 있는 미신 이제 내게 나지면 나는 여러분 나타나는데 미나 버전이라 나름 대변인 제보나 스링이로는 일람도 이런 나라나게 유생이 단지대를 주도되고 있는 데면 대신 메라 나면 좀 나라에 맞서는 데면 단위지면하지 제보제 바보서면 양이 되면 죽이는 데면이라 되면 대자매매라는 데 뭔가지는 근도 도변의 신이지 뭐 매지나 심리 장주 심지지마다 가지는 것도 코레라지는 양에는 두나라지 대병우는 싫어해 제망을 사람이 내지어지는 근도 도변은 자담이라는 거 가지고 유마서 뭐지나 지난 있으면 대다르도나 기비지원 다니지만 그냥 하시 디지털에 벌써 손에 나와지 디지털에 생각하지 나도 이제 디자인 되면 나들 집에 되게 동서랑 밀람나야 디지털이나 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 그죠 디지 디지털이나 고도 좀 주망아서 디지털이 좀 레오디 dim바고 간데 제일 중요한 것은 뭐지 라진데에서 그냥 말해주면 코레는 매진 나는 되는 저 대해서 여러 사람들은 생각이지라는 준비되어 레레 성질한 거지 되게 마다 제이나 말하는 도도된 좀 나지다 주비나 되는 지대주에서 나오는 데는 좀 지대주에는 지대중이나 지대는 지다라나라지고나 되고면 가야면 가는 대신 승리에서 우리는 무슨도면 그는 영어적인 맛이 또 내가 되는 나를 리나 롱주도 되도 게면 아주면 제메 가면도 제메 가면 어느 좀 대외적인 것이 더 버지 승리로는 되게 좀 나라지고는 대면에서는 나중에 가좀 말이 생기는 나면 나라지도 내미는 내제 김버서미나 마찬가지로는 계획이나 탐지 타주지는 지 공개미나를 본다 중에는 예동자와는 또 배다 별로 대도난데 바지면 이메지는 문화섬 주면 탈레되는 얘네 제대로 나와는 데다 주기는 데다 주면 내가 주기라 주면 낭매 똥매 대매 주매매 간다까지 되면 있는 되지만 대시에 나가 있는 지지만 대시에 좀 바가 있는 이제도 배다지는 생기는 대대나 똥매 순이 다슨 이러면 괜찮다 이러면 대외 되면서 이런 생명입니다. 라메진하고 관계인가 지트나 칼라지는 남겨지는 대세 담배 되는 것이 탐지죠. 칸냠 타더랑도 상감에 야나든 최남도 지는 그리나 똑같이나 지메르게지를 가나게 mesuruna 나서 되는 데다가 또 나되면 신시선에 대해 라자라는 중이는 가라는 도시는 미래스들 밀런다 바데면 don지는 시장 미세 된장미고 와 관계를 비니마 예전 대마르지는 또 배도니면 디미지는 또 배도니 좀 에마서 자니 보다는 얘네들이나 매지나 남에 되면 좀 나랑심 좀 내는 나랑도지만 예집에 지나지는 담배람에 심바쇼도 지내로 되나요 운동을 하면 되는 저는 심리를 sem나나지를 다 담시 예제메서는 데서도 저도 달라 말안에 봐 예제서는 나서 나야마가 디자인을 살래 상에 많이 망기서 살라미는 거죠 라지도 너희 넘어도 보다 자동으로 되는 저도 강다를 검제돼 예벌 검제 예벌 검제 탑에는 이제 검제니 매주는 나도 검제 다스미나 신도 검제를 예지버 조림 검제 주비 제림네 샤도 드님 균렌 롤 진도 레데 날면 아니다 무슨 데미지 여러분 Temenyi mezingarunda jinarunda kaindemununda namgeramunda desenjidram. Desengola de la general jokolanda chigi kulo jinarunda tubekolanda desengola. Majanshidana zamajana janshi janshi jinarunda Osewala nina semoji desemede jinarunda Dichigen to be Rantana Kasana and going to watch him to be Leo the Java or the other Judging. Chilomangani was in the measures in the Gavati. Kone contribution Jacobin Jim Milam Juma, Milan Juma, which is another. Temperature Melon Yonga, Jeremy, Pamel Haji, Pamel Haji, two months, Tagis, and then I know she went Yamga or Chikur Summit in Yangana Public, Nana Medo, Matation, Shuzanka, Tensions and Dalam Deborji, Dende does the Deborah in the mix, but give it much Chivilam the Indus on the Tendo. So there's a menu go, so there's some chicken in wooden in the Tarba division, the mission. Chiraga Dente and the Maji, the Latan, very Toranji, the Manganing with the Malasame, the Master Najna, Kareto over them. Choose a gymnast, choose a Niman, and then he said not the Marimis of courage as well, the Kim Tanation. So watch him with Jumang Association about Ujin. Much of them, and you're recognized with Jimmy. Kari Tuguri, good look about also give.
Got it, Chair.
Also,
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Takas and Dakinis. Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you, Rinpoche. We're also grateful. We're going to ask Lama Jacqueline now to say the closing prayers, and then I'll just make some final announcements. So everybody hang in there after the prayers.
The dedication of merit. By this virtue in all of my lives, may I perfect the accumulation of merit and primordial wisdom. And from the arising of merit and primordial wisdom, may I attain the two sacred kayas. And the long life prayer for His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. From the pure land surrounded by the ring of snow mountains, the source of benefit and happiness without exception, all-powerful Tenzin Gyatso, who is Avalokiteshvara, may you remain steadfastly and may you maintain steadfastly until samsara is exhausted. May your activities be as all-encompassing as space. And the long life prayer for AdzomGR Sat Tuku Rinpoche. Om Swasti, primordially unchanging luminosity, the true nature, Dharmata, is revealed perfectly in the Vajra essence, the supreme vehicle, great charioteer of this path, whose wisdom mind manifests in the dance of magical emanation as the supreme Nirmanakaya, Jerme Tekjo Dorje, may he remain present here forever. And the long life prayer for Adzom Pelo Rinpoche. Embodiment of the power and blessing of an infallible ocean of refuge. Gracious Dharma Lord, guardian of the teachings and sentient beings, glorious and excellent Jerme Tupten Jatso, may your lotus feet be steadfast and your actions all encompassing. And the prayer for post-meditation. In the state where the three visions, sounds, and awareness our deities, mantra, and Dharmakaya. This is the encompassing display of Kayas and primordial wisdom. In the practice of the profound, secret, great yoga, may the one taste of the inseparable heart Tigle manifest. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Lama Jacqueline. So I just wanted, just in case some weren't on yet, first of all, thank you to Rinpoche and Eric. This has been amazing, and we are so grateful for this teaching. I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of this good news, that we are going to continue with the teachings. Rinpoche has agreed to go forward with this text and continue. So stay tuned for information that will be coming via email to you with dates. We believe that there will be 4 more teachings posted, hopefully for the fall, into late fall, perhaps December. And we will certainly let you know. Before we go, I did want to just remind everybody about Dana for Rinpoche and Eric. That is through coppermount.org, and you received that email through White Jewel Mountain. So please just know it's tax deductible. And when you make your dana, you can just mention who it is for, so it is clear for Carol at Copper Mountain. And blessings on everybody, and thank you for being part of this amazing community. And we hope to see you in the next round of teachings.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Rinpoche.
Eric.
Rinpoche. Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Eric.
Rinpoche.
Thank
you, Eric.
Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Nice day.
Eric,
And Eric.
wonderful teaching. Very much
Thank
appreciated.
you, Rinpoche.
Good to see you.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you so much, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
So much.
Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rinpoche. Thank you, Eric.
You can say thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
You.
Demaho.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rinpoche. Thank you, Eric.
Jim.
Thank you, Rinpoche. Thank you, Eric La.
Also, Lamala.
Tuesday Rinpoche, from George A. Ling, John Paul, and Jimbo.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you,
Also,
Rinpoche.
Thank
Thank you, Don Martin.
Thank you, Rinpoche from Alberton, Genie in Oregon.
okay.
Thank you, Eric.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Also,
Jai Guru, Jai Guru.
Jai Guru, Jai Guru. Bom Bom Bole.
Har Har Mahadev.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Okay.
Eric and
Okay,
Janine.
bye-bye.
All right.
Thank you, Rinpoche.
Thank you, Eric.
Let's see who else is here. Oh, there's still a lot of people. Huh. Should we sign off? Up to you.
And thank you for all the tech help, Gary, Emily, Kwong, everybody.
Thank you, Emily.
All of our support. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah, that'd be great.
And Jack.
But you have to do it separately. Right. But we can go to the link right here if we want.
Okay.
Thank you, Ani Tenzin.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, Jack and Stephanie, both.
Thank you. And please remember this monastic fundraising for Anila will be continuing, and we'll all keep supporting her and reminding everybody, and those links will be active. So please keep her in mind. This is really a situation where it's so deeply needed, and it's been so amazing to see the generosity pouring in. So thank you. And we will keep on as Zochen Nittig continuing to support and remind everybody during our teachings. And thank you to Lama Soltram for bringing that the way she did. Okay, everybody. Blessings on your day. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Stephanie and Jack.
Thank you, Stephanie and Jack.
And thank you, Anila, for helping to make this possible, this teaching. It's been amazing.
So I went to the link and that's why
Did you do one?
no, I didn't, but it got down to their, I scrolled down.
Where do they have it? We said $100.
I know, but those are just opposite. You can scan up and see it. It's going to be called center.
Please choose.
Or you want to scan up and see what the whole site looks like?
Okay, dear friends, I know it's always difficult to part, but love you all, and we'll see you soon. Keep